been working at the BOS almost 4 years now. My current role is Operations Coordinator, but when I joined BlueScope in the BOS, I started as a crane driver. Yes, and I did crane driving for almost 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and I felt I had more to offer. And so I applied for this role that came up, Operations Coordinator, and I got it. And I trained for almost 6 months, and now I'm a substantive Operations Coordinator in the BOS. I came from Namibia, and this kind of industry is my background, but I was in the work health and safety profession back in Namibia. And when we came about 4 years ago with my family, after about 6 months of looking for jobs, it didn't quite work out, and I got a call from BlueScope. And I think it was under the Blue Boots scheme, and I got interviews, a couple of interviews, and when they called me initially, they said, Steelworks, crane driving. And I'm like, did they get my CV mixed up with someone else's? Because I don't have any crane driving experience. And I was like, anyway, I don't care. We need a job as a family. So I came in for that interview, got the job. And the beauty about it is they train you as you go. And within 3 months, I was signed off and I was driving a crane at BlueScope. And I loved it because it just told me, knowing where I came from, that in Australia you can literally do whatever you want, you career change, and I loved that. So that gave me the drive to, well, if I could do crane driving, I can be an operations coordinator, because I do have a science background as well that helped. But I wanted something more than crane driving. When I explain to people I don't drive cranes anymore, I make the steel. And that is exactly what it is. And you coordinate the whole process of bringing in scrap, bringing in hot metal from the blast furnace. And when it's in the furnace, you watch that process for at least 15 minutes and produce steel at the end of that process. And how I went about getting this job is, it was speaking to a BOS technical coordinator, because I always had questions. So why do we put the scrap in? Why do we have to wait at this moment whilst I'm waiting to charge the scrap? Why do we have to do this? And he would explain, and I would keep asking more questions. Then eventually he's like, Pam, there's going to be an operations coordinator position coming up. You should apply. And I did exactly that, applied. They called me for an interview, and eventually I got into the role. And the training process is pretty long and quite daunting. It was pretty daunting for me. It's something that I always think about, that all my life I've been blessed to have great bosses. And that comes straight to the BOS as well. When I came in, I started on shift 2, driving the cranes, loved my team leader, moved to shift 3, loved that crew as well, and I'm generally a people person as well. So I come in with a blank page and you create your character to me, and I hardly listen to what people would say, oh, this crew is like this person is like this. I want to create my own perception. And it's different people, beautiful personalities, and I enjoy working. Currently I'm on shift 1 and I enjoy working with them. I'll tell you, I've already told the company, our bigger boss, that I'm retiring from the BlueScope. I don't see myself working anywhere else. I love it. And when I came here, it felt like I'm home, because this is the industry I've always worked in, and I love the BOS. Hopefully someday my own sons can work here, and I can tell them stories, they can tell their stories, and it continues. It has done so much for the Illawarra, for Australia. I'm just so wowed to be part of BlueScope and to celebrate half a century. That's not a joke.